Welcome. This is VSCode extension deployment with Intune. I'm David, and this is...
My name is Björn, Sundling.
Awesome.
Before we go, huge thanks to our sponsors, Chocolatey, Jane Street, Ironman Software, Knowledge Factory, and Synergy. Without them, we couldn't do this. Go buy their stuff, look at their booths, steal their t-shirts, play their ping pong tables, and do other fun stuff with the sponsors. Thank you so much for this.
And in case you didn't know, Jane Street is hiring PowerShell experts. And it's also for the recording, whoever watching it later. So I'm David. I like Intune some days. I also like camping, the tent version, not the game version. I'm told that's bad. I'm a security domain architect at Switch, which is a non-profit foundation working in the higher education space in Switzerland. And I do this for my job.
Yeah. Like I said, my name is Björn. I am a DevOps fan. I like to write pipelines. I'm one of the two people in the world who thinks YAML is a good language. I also like fishing, but preferably not the evil one. I prefer the securer one where you just use a rod and catch some tasty, tasty fishes. Fishes. In my day-to-day work, I am a consultant at Knowledge Factory, where I do, well, DevOps stuff. And that's sort of how we ended up here.
Yes, I had this project at work and I needed help. And what better way to ask for help than tricking him into doing a session with me about said subject and solving my problems. He did. So why this session? There is a supply chain risk all around us. And that specifically impacts the dev and sysadmin folks because we are high risk and we are being targeted. Usually, security is more important than the developer experience, which is unpleasant. There is a dev tool supply chain risk as well, not just supply chain in general. And because I think developer experience is important, I wanna spread some different approach than what we usually see is that it's locked down, you get nothing, go away. To give you more about the supply chain risk, supply chain risk is when you get hacked because your supplier is hacked or because their supplier is hacked, and through the chain, the attacker get to you and your data is compromised. And this is the type of situation which is not only bad, but gets you on the news. And probably it's even worse for you when you are part of that supply chain somewhere in the middle and you got compromised first. That's hard to rub under the carpet when it's on the news. Notable incidents would be NotPetya in 2018 and SolarWinds in 2020. NotPetya was some financial software made for the Ukrainian market. That vendor was compromised, and through them, the customer who was using that software or customers, and eventually it was well over $1 billion USD of financial loss. SolarWinds, on the other hand, was SolarWinds CI/CD infrastructure being compromised to get their installers infected, and those installers went to 18,000 customers or something like that, and through them all kinds of companies got owned by the Russians. Probably the Russians. So why this is relevant to you, you could ask? It's because, as I said, we are, as IT people, targeted. Because most of the times we work with sensitive content or have privileged access. And I don't know about you, but I know some people who really love their local admin rights and would quit if those are taken away. We also like cool tools, and we aren't really afraid to install them without ever considering if that's secure enough or testing them if they are secure enough. And in general, systematically, our security is not treated as, our security is systematically treated as unimportant. And I'm going to say this louder for the people in the back, that our security is systematically treated as unimportant. Right? We have no example where this is really obvious, and I see no Microsoft employees here, which is good. It's not related to those people here at the conference. I talked to them. They are really trying to do the right thing. And that gets us to the dev to supply chain risk, which not only a serious problem and gets on the news, but as mentioned before, the SolarWind incident was related to dev tooling being compromised. And if we look at the news from the past couple of years, VSCode extensions and their marketplace is one place where you could start such a compromise or such an attack. Usually these days it's targeting the crypto community. But if you look, there are some extensions with 9 million downloads, which were pulled because of their security issues. Some were deploying early stage ransomware as well. And some people spent some very short amount of time, just 30 minutes, to publish some extensions which were impersonating some other ones, and in 30 minutes hack multi-billion companies with their not malicious, but from presentation standpoint, very interesting extensions and companies. And this doesn't make me feel safe and doesn't make me sleep well, especially because in our job, we have some privileged admin workstations where we need VS Code for security operations center work. We need extensions, and I really don't want my people to install the wrong extension, only those which are vetted and approved. But it's not all bad, because some of the dumpsters are not on fire, so there is a chance for us to do it the right way. And this is where this session comes in, as this is we people, the developers or the system admins, we can be part of the problem, but we don't have to be. We can be part of the solution. We can help security to not suck the joy out of our lives. And we are creative. With some creative ideas, we can, I believe, help fix this problem. So the goal I had was that we should have a curated list of validated and trusted extensions. Those should be vetted from security standpoint as well as from brand impersonation or company impersonation standpoints. I want self-service for the users because the marketplace is self-service, and I don't really want to deny requests. So if someone needs something, I don't want to send them away or get them through some super lengthy bureaucratic process. It should be as painful possibly as installing from the marketplace. And for that, the best is if it's integrated with existing technologies, and if we can improve this security through DevOps. And this is where we start, because how do we patch software and install software? Usually with Intune. How do we usually do that? With automation, of course. I mean, this is a PowerShell related conference. And what are we good at? both. At least that's what I thought. So, because I know Intune, but I needed help with some other stuff, I reached out to Björn and
Yes.
he was tricked.
Okay. So yeah. David contacted me some time ago and was like, "Hey Björn, I have a project I need some help with. It's an Intune project." And I'm like, I know about when it comes to Intune, quite literally. And he was like, no, but don't worry, I can do the Intune stuff, but I need some help sort of around this whole. There's a whole process of this. If we just can get the VSCode extensions to work as I want them, I can fix the rest. I just want like a new way or a way to request new extensions. I want some way of downloading these packages automatically instead of me having to go to, start up VSCode, download them and find them in my folder. I want to store them somewhere. Like, could you upload them to a Blob or something maybe? And, maybe have, and I'm like, oh yeah. So you're saying Intune, but fact of the matter, what you're asking is, can we get like a package from A to B? And this raises a couple of questions. So first of all, the store, instead of having to start VS Code and downloading and extracting a VSIX package and so on, does the store, VS Code extension store, even have an API? And if it does, well, one of the things you mentioned was the 30-minute hacking, evil people publishing bad extensions. So we probably want to verify that the extension, the integrity of these packages that we download. And we want to apply some security, like run it through a virus scanner or do some static and dynamic code checks over extensions, whatever we can build in security-wise and say that, okay, I download it, but if it contains virus, toss it away. And of course, this isn't Intune. This is a pipeline system. I know them. I know pipelines. So the only question left was basically, give me a location to push this stuff. And that shouldn't be too hard, right? Well, famous left words, have you? Oh, there we go. So the first thing I had to figure out was how the mouse tracker works on your computer.
Oh, I use this.
Oh, you have one of those. Okay. Let's see if I can control this one. The first thing we had to figure out was, does the VS Code have a gallery API? Is there anyone from Microsoft here? No. Good. Because there's absolutely no API supported in the VS Code extension. There is no API available. It strictly says so. You are verboten to do this, and it's not any detail. So here's a link to a blog post that will be included in everything that's... No, you don't have that right. That contains the entire API reverse engineered. And so basically what we had to do was wrap this in a PowerShell thing. Now, it's not blatantly obvious how it works. It has some bit flags that we needed to figure out and do reversing of, but it wasn't too hard to figure out. Oh, wait, sorry. Very, very sorry. How do you zoom without the touch?
This one and that one.
Yeah. So you're from Switzerland, Belgium?
Yes.
Yes. On an American computer?
Yes.
That a Swede tries to operate. Where's Control-Ö?
And I changed the control and the FM buttons.
There's no buttons on the right place. Yeah, okay. So we had to do some filtering, and most of this is described in the guy who reversed engineered it, but he did it for Python, I think it was, but it's not too hard to translate. So we managed to get this up and running and say, hey, we can now call the API, get our package metadata, and we can from there find the download link to the VSIX package that contains the extension. Now, a VSIX package is basically just a glorified zip file. So it's fairly easy to just download them, and we can start checking this for integrity stuff and checking versions, doing version controls and stuff. And it was quite easy to figure out once we got there. The next thing, of course, again, the mouse clicky thing, was a way to feed this. We need to have a way for our users to say, hey, I need a new extension. Now, we probably should and could build a fancy front end to it, but in the end, I opted for the simple way out and just created a JSON file. Because anyone can make a pull request to this repo, we can basically lock it down so that we can manage it and approve the pull request, but anyone can just go and say, hey, I want this one approved. And we can say, hell no, because I'm the king, I decide. I also included some support for versioning, so if we don't define a specific version, we can say latest, just to use whatever, because, for example, we have... these little red things are hard. For example, we have this package, and I kind of trust the developers of it. They up every now and then, but mostly it works quite well. So we don't have to define a version. So this was sort of the first building blocks we have. Now, the next step was basically just write some... What's that? God damn it, you weird computer. Don't ever start working with computers. They're just a bloody mess.
Second one.
Yeah. So the next one was, of course, just wrap this in a GitHub workflow. We have some secrets because we need to talk to our Azure tenant where we set up our blob storage. So we had to create some secrets, and we had to do use the AZ session, or we opted to do this way. And then we just run the PowerShell function to get our approved extensions. It will read the JSON file and parse it, and then it will loop through it and download every single VSIX, depending on if you configure a version or not, and so on. And once this is done, we come to the verification of it. So I started out putting the bar pretty high. A lot of virus scanning and stuff involved, but it turns out most of that stuff costs money, and I'm a cheap bastard, so... Well, I opted out of it, but at least I could verify that, hey, the downloaded version, both the package name and the company that created it, I don't remember the name, package name and the company that created it, we are verifying that they actually match what we require, because that's sort of what we can do from the metadata file in the VSIX and from the requested one. And we compress this into a metadata sort of blob. We download them all and create some verifications file that David then can use to see which extensions do we have. And that's supposedly or hopefully in the future can also be used to do some caching and verify do we actually have to download. Because right now, in this current state, it basically downloads everything every single time we run it. Last but not least, well, we upload all of our VSIX packages and all of the metadata files to our blob storage. And we end up with a storage blob in Azure that looks something like this. Nope. This little red thing in the middle is terribly hard to control. So we have the hashes of the extension zip. This way, we can verify that the zip I downloaded and the zip David creates packages from at least isn't compromised. If he can check the file hash of it, or chances are smaller that is compromised at least. We have the content of it. So we can check that, okay, we have the name of the package that we want, which is VSCode PowerShell. We have the requested version, which is grabbed from the JSON file. And we have the installed version, which is read from the metadata file inside the VSIX package. So we can have some sort of control of all of this. So now we have more or less the download flow working. Now we are not complete, but we have most of it in place. We can get a list of approval extensions. We can download all of them. We extract them. We verify that the names and publisher IDs that are publishers, that's the word I was looking for earlier, and the version number is correct. We have still not implemented caching because, well, I haven't gotten around to implement caching. the GitHub Advanced Security, virus scanning, static code analysis, we need to find a solution that's either cheap enough for me to buy into or some easy way to do this. It's not impossible, it's just me being lazy. We create a zip package, publish it to a blob storage for David to do his Intune magic, and then we update the metadata files so we can always verify that it's the current version of everything. There are a couple of things we still have on the to-do list, such as, like I mentioned, adding a better way than having to do a pull request. We could probably do this like with a function app or something doing this, but for now, this works quite well. Also, well, right now it's set to trigger when we say, I need to install stuff. We should probably think something around this, but mainly it actually works quite well. Just do not tell the Microsoft people about this article because it's strictly verboten. And I think that's how you do it. Yay! And we finally have the answer. Where do you want your extension? Here's a blob. Just put it in your workflow file. This is my blob pointers and this is my secrets and so on. And suddenly we have the automatic download of VSIX packages, including verification. And we're getting our packages from A to B. And that's where I drop it off back to you. Oh, yay, we had a start demo slide as well. Good us.
Sorry, yes. So things we learned in the process is that getting the latest doesn't mean the latest major version. It can be the latest preview version as well. So we need to filter out the preview versions automatically, and it's sometimes 30 different versions down in the list. You will find the latest GA version of an extension. And I reached out to some new vendors who supposed to check NuGet and other npm, for example, are those extensions, or package version security. So they run security on public repositories. And some of them said, yes, they want to do VSCode extensions as well. It's on their roadmap. When they reach back that it's done, I will go and update the GitHub repository where this presentation will be published. So whoever is watching this later, they might find the links there already and in the presentation as well. At the moment, I don't have the links because the features are still in the works. So from here, we have the option to do something with these extensions in Intune. The approach is at the moment that, or where I started was that I automatically push every extensions to the machine. I don't care if they are needed or not. They will be there. They will be usable. But that can create an experience where a dev opens their machine or a sysadmin opens their machine and there is a bunch of stuff they don't need. And I want to limit the attack vector. So instead of pushing everything, I want them to pull what they need. And for this, the Intune has the company portal experience where you can get software installed, and I want my extensions to show up there as software components that give self-service. And with this approach, there is a possibility to bundle. So multiple extensions could be placed in one package and call it, let's say, .NET development, or call it React development, and whatever is needed for those roles, it's in one package, one single installation, instead of installing 30 or just 10 different extensions. This bundling does not exist at the moment yet. I only need 7 extensions for my use case, but maybe that will change and I will do the bundling for ourselves as well. And I'm jumping over to the Intune demo right away. In Intune, the best way to deliver what you need in a and with the most freedom is if you deliver Win32 applications, because in Win32 applications you can create an install script, and in that install script you can do whatever you need to do. So the approach we took was that we have the VSIX files, we download them, there is an install script which knows the file name, and there is an uninstall script because it's required. These together are packaged for the Intune install files. And probably the best if I just open the script, which is a bit messy. So we always get the full file from Björn. So if it contains 4 extensions or contains 17, we need to go through them. So this script basically does a for loop somewhere. Yes. And gets the file and processes it. At the moment, it deletes everything which was there before and republishes them again. The package creation is done with the tool so-called Intune WinUp util. This is from Microsoft. You give it a folder with the files in it and it will create a WinInstall file. An Intune Win file. And then you upload that into Intune with a different PowerShell module. It requires a Windows-based runner because these tools only exist for Windows. His workflow is running Linux. This workflow is running Windows-based runners. And when it's run, Intune will get the VSCode extensions populated. There is one thing I just learned from Börn, is that when the extension is over a 9.1 megabyte file size limit, uploading requires a different approach. I'm not super sure if this PowerShell module I used respect that or not. Seemingly, when you see assign no, that means it failed to upload the package into Intune. I usually just rerun and eventually it will work. I don't know if it's timeout issue or something. The error message is 403, which is weird. And even the PowerShell extension is 20 megabyte in a zipped format. And when they are presented in the company portal app, they show up as applications. Currently, I have 3 of them present because the others failed the last upload 30 minutes ago. And I have spent some time troubleshooting the installation without realizing that I never actually downloaded the VSIX from the Azure Blob. So I just had an install script and a detection script, and there was actually nothing there to install, which was fixed the last minute. So if I click install now...
That's not true. It was 8 minutes ago.
Okay, sorry. We're supposed to see VSCode get extensions. Now, the way we prevent the users to make mistake is that we update the host file with Intune remediation script and basically point the Visual Studio Marketplace to localhost. So when VSCode wants to look up the extensions, it can't. Recommendations still work, but if you click install on the recommended ones, they will fail because they cannot download the VSIX directly from Microsoft. This is the point that if someone sources the VSIX from an alternative way, they can still install it with drag and drop. But we are not preventing that. If someone wanna be malicious, they can do that and risk their employment, but it doesn't worth the effort for us to do the prevention. And surprise, for me at least, a PowerShell extension got installed. So it finally works.
What?
Right, I'm surprised too.
It works.
Yep.
God damn it.
The install script, however, I need to scroll up, is super easy. There is a bunch of logging for my sake, so I can better troubleshoot with Application Insights integration. So if I head over to Application Insights, I should see and click refresh that installation was happening and installation was successful. And because I have machines all around Switzerland, this way I can collect and I don't rely on Intune to give back the logs. Intune is a bit unreliable from that standpoint. And yes, it's just the installation itself is that we use the code CLI and give it the package and it's installed. And I have problems with my computer as well. So as I said, bundling the extensions is not in place at the moment. We are not doing security scans because GitHub security is expensive and the vendors have not delivered their stuff. Technically, because VSIX or the extension itself is just a zip file and a folder, it's possible to scan, but it's super hard to integrate and have a fluid experience in a pipeline. So while I did scan them, I did choose to not integrate because it's just too high cost on my soul. And the blob has to be pre-created. We are not creating Azure storage account containers with the pipelines at the moment, because you could choose to create a new one for every week or every month for archiving purposes in case you need to roll back.
And we stumbled a couple of times on this because when we moved it around and set this up, it turns out that if you click install stuff, they will not look the same every time. And suddenly our config stopped working and was like, why can't I upload my blob? Oh, that's why I can't. So bicep code for deploying everything, or ARM or whatever, something to deploy it. It's on the to-do list.
Yes, and because I need this for work, it will be updated as I go. And with that, we are up for questions.
Eerie silence. Everyone's trying, can we hear Bruce from here? Shoot.
How hard is it to set up logging for the installations with a log analytics workspace? I've never transferred logs with software packages to application sites. Is it hard? Is it complicated?
Okay, so the question is how hard is it to set up logging to something.
So how hard is to log into application insights with software installation?
App insights.
Because software installation is done with PowerShell. We need to integrate PowerShell with application insights. There is a PS App Insights module to do that. And you need the application insights incrementation key. This is being updated with the build pipeline. If I head over here, we have a bunch of variables. One of them is the application insights. We have a bunch of secrets in GitHub Actions, and the application insights instrumentation key and other things are being replaced in the script files because every package needs the package ID in them. So there is the replacement, and that's why I couldn't find the for each in my file previously. And after you have that instrumentation key, you just initiate a client, or yes, initialize a client, and you can start sending your logs with send AI trace message. And you can send your logs in bigger batches. If you use the flash, it sends it. If you don't use a flash, it will build up the information in memory and you can send them. It's fairly easy, but you need the module on the machine first, and that's delivered with Intune remediation scripts, not with software packages.
Anything else? Is it useful? Lots of nods at least. That's a good grade.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we done?
I believe so.
Do we have any more slides?
Let's check.
No. Then we are done.
We are done. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nah, come here. This was good fun.